Hey everyone, we want to speak about the remaining transits of this year. We know that 2020 was pretty profound. We have a lot of cardinal energies and Mars moving back and forth, all these planets moving back and forth over Pluto. And what really characterizes the remaining couple months of 2020 really is the word completion, integration, closing a cycle. Not just because it's the end of a year, but we have several astrological factors that all repeat this one theme. So we have Jupiter and Saturn both completing their time in Capricorn. We have Jupiter and Saturn both either having recently or are about to complete their third conjunction with Pluto in Capricorn. We have Mars completing its time in Aries. We have Mars right now completing its final of 3 conjunctions with squares with all the Capricorn planets. Right, all the main players, like the intensity of 2020 and all that's been happening, these cycles, they're all in their last hurrah right now. Which means it's very easy to read the theme, the phase of development and growth for the rest of this year. The way that I would speak about it is the cardinal energies really point us to how are we using our will? How are we orienting ourselves within time and space? There's this phase of growth where it's a lot of learning, a lot of healing, a lot of working through karmic stuff, facing our shadow. And that's what this year has been about in many ways. Facing deeper places and taking responsibility for what we need to work on. But there comes a point where we are then called into a deeper agency and self-trust, self-confidence to say, okay, I get it. It is for me to use my will appropriately to choose my life according to the knowing that I have of why I'm here, what is most important for me, the life that I want to live. And this has to come from within. It has to come from a deep sense of caring, a deep sense of purpose. And this purpose need not be some sort of delusional, my purpose is to fill in the blank, but something that's very intimate to who we are, where we say, okay, if I don't work on myself, then in 20 years, I'm not going to be where I want to be. So there's a quality of sobering and coming into a deeper spiritual maturity to say it is time, to use space, to work with masterful use of boundaries and structure and form, to cultivate the gem of awakening that is within me, to bring out and really strengthen, Capricorn keyword, strengthen my alignment with who I am and why I am here.
I feel like this particular time may not have revealed your purpose, in the grand scheme of things. Like, it may not be clear where things are going. I've been thinking a lot about the impact of people being so isolated and being, removed from in social distance, removed from contact, and how that internalization that's happened in this year, the restrictions, the boundaries, can be like a pressure cooker of actually whittling us down. A Pluto transit can often strip away slowly over time everything that is not us, that is not the soul of who we are. And then from that realization that really all that's left standing is the true essence of you, or some glimmer of light in what might seem like darkness. That's often what the winter time and Capricorn time, and with all of this sort of moving in seasons, I feel like the end of this year is Mars going through the rest of Aries, making all those squares, and Mercury going through Scorpio, covering the rest of the ground there. It's like, it's this final layer of sloughing off. And my deepest prayer in this time has been, may I be able to integrate everything I've learned in this year in the most embodied way possible.
Okay, that's fine. That's beautiful. And it's up to us. It's absolutely up to us. It's one of those things where with the hours that we have in a day, we can spend it in all kinds of ways. And to come from a rigid, I have to, do this, and that, is often just met with the opposite, or, this deep, repressed need for relaxation and just unwinding. But I think one of the things that we've learned in this year is there's a level to which we all need to take responsibility to consciously claim for ourselves what we need to do to evolve, to grow. And the truth is, what's inside of us, after the Pluto fire burns everything and we're just hanging out and we're just basically a bunch of golden embers and there's not much left, it inspires us to say, this life is important. This opportunity is so important. And bringing alignment into whatever we can bring our alignment into, bringing more care, conscientiousness, so that every aspect of our life can gradually feel that it is met with agency and purpose. And when I speak of purpose, it's the only true purpose is that of being what we are. And thus, when we cultivate purpose, we work on our mind. We work on our mind, we forgive, we clarify and correct the thoughts that would have us be what we are not. And so to meet everything in our lives with that level of devotion, to want to see the truth and to want to live in relationship with it. The Mars Capricornian energy says there's going to be a lot of reaction, a lot of friction, but what that is about is just helping us come back into, this is where we do not know our own freedom and our own power to live in alignment. It's where we think that there are obstacles out there that keep us from being in alignment. So the remainder of this year, I think, is going to be really interesting. A lot of insight and clarity and sort of a new potential for motivation to really ask us to do it. Do the thing. Make the choice. Make the commitment. Sign up for the class. Offer the program. Begin this practice. There's so much wisdom in the idea of discipline. I almost feel like we can talk about discipline forever, because there's so much trauma around that word discipline. And I really feel the essence of discipline is in the mind. It's not about overtly you wake up and you do this thing with your body, or throughout the day you make sure you don't eat sugar. Right? The essence of discipline is really understanding we're working with our thinking. We're working with how we are orienting to reality, where our attention is. And the humility of knowing where we're coming from is what inspires us to work consciously with our physical reality with respect to the mind training. But the physical reality isn't the purpose. But to completely ignore it and say it's all in the mind might potentially lead us to actually not cultivating ourselves. So it's working with discipline, I feel, is something that has to come from a deep wisdom, a deep understanding of what our real goal is. And it's up for us to stay in touch with that.
The word discipline comes from the root disciple. And to me, that is the essence of someone who has devoted their life to understanding the truth, to understanding who they were created to be. There's a lot that we can be conditioned and taught, this is the marker of success. This is where you should be headed in your life. This is what a good relationship looks like. And all those things might distract from the true devotion, the true calling that we are called to be who we are. And it can take years to remove the layers of those beliefs, like they're old clothes that belong to somebody else, and it can be a little scary to find yourself naked and humbled by life, and really having to discover what you're devoted to. And I feel like in my life, I'm getting clearer and clearer every day of my devotion to love, and to everywhere in my life I am not living in love. I am not seeing with love. And and that's enough of a purpose in daily life to get through, doing laundry and making dinner and doing work and being in the world as it is today. Like, it's easy to get caught up in and lose sight of the discipline, which is just the internal teacher. It's the internal knowing itself. And I think of the disciplined heart as being the most devoted way we can turn into ourselves and really look like what's inside of here and what's true.
Beautiful. So many blessings, much love to us all for the remainder of this very interesting and potent year. And I want to let you know, if you're interested in tuning into what the astrologers have to say about 2021, I'm honored to be a part of the Astrology Hub Inner Circle this year. So throughout 2021, I'll be giving teachings and a part of this community. And all of us are offering a free webinar on December 10th and December 11th. And so you can sign up through my affiliate link in the descriptions below.
Thanks for joining us.